Welcome to Podula Rasa. I'm David Blank.
And I'm Jim Esch.
This is a podcast about finding something in nothing.
Life is but a stream running on empty. Hi, this is Jim. In today's show, Dave and I push against the boundaries of nothing into something, or maybe it's the other way around. We run all over the place in a freewheeling conversation about music, streaming, the band Yes, Steven Wilson, Lou Reed, singing Sinatra standards, Buddha statues, G-men, dads in wartime, new band discoveries, punk rock Sphinxes, and Dave's plan for getting Brian Eno to sue us, huh? Prepare for a wild ride into nothingness and beyond. Our conversation began with me talking about my trial subscription to Jay-Z's Tidal music service and why I decided to quit. I just canceled the trial. It's running out this week. I like Tidal. Like some of these, it's great because they have different masterings of different albums, and it's all like if you do the hi-fi tier, it's very good quality. So we were doing a lot of comparing different versions of the albums, and it's like Running on Empty was. We listened to this. I have like an early CD mastering of that, which was not good at all, and then. The title sounded good, but then I had Stacy do a blind listening test, and she actually preferred the Spotify over the Tidal.
Really?
Yeah, and then sometimes Spotify sounds better. Or, I mean, sometimes Tidal sounds better, and but the deal breaker is the dropouts. So I guess because it's using so much bandwidth, and if you don't have the greatest network connection. You'll be so immersed in this great sounding stuff, and then this chokes, and then it's like you're just waiting for that to happen again.
Yeah, wow. You know, it's funny. I had a virtual experience like that. I was waiting for my daughter at school the last time I picked her up, and I was listening to a classical music station, and they were playing Stravinsky's The Firebird Suite.
Oh, I love that,
which I know. Yeah, it's awesome, but. I also love Yes, and they would, when they toured, a lot of their live shows that are recorded, they would start with the Firebird Suite, and then
but Yes would play it.
Well, I think it was recorded.
Okay,
and they would finish it with like da 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 da.
Right, yeah, right.
Da 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 da. And then it would start with like. Going for the One, or cool. Steve Howe would start playing, and so I'm sitting in the car with my mother, and we're listening to Firebird Suite, and I'm waiting for Steve Howe. Like I know it's not going to happen, but I'm hoping. Like so, in my mind, it was like it dropped out. Oh.
Speaking of Yes, I've been listening to a lot of music. I'm finally getting back into listening to music. I was in a little bit of a rut there. I wasn't sure what I wanted to listen to, but so long story short, I canceled the Tidal subscription, and then the day that I canceled, I put in a CD order because I found a really good deal. I've been getting into some classical music. Now I didn't mention it, so. I worked my way through all of Mahler's symphonies. I'd never listened to more than one or two of his symphonies before. Okay. And he has 9 symphonies and an uncompleted 10th symphony. So part of my testing Tidal and so forth was like running through those symphonies. And it's fun because this classical music is great for Spotify and Tidal because you can just dial up any conductor you want, any orchestra you want. You can listen to multiple versions. It's just wonderful. I guess I was browsing some CDs online, and I saw this really great deal on a Leonard Bernstein, all the Mahler symphonies that he recorded with various orchestras, New York Philharmonic, London Symphony, and like a 12 CD set for like $29-$30.
Wow. All
And
Bernstein.
yeah. So I'm like, I can't. That's like a really good deal. I think. Plus, like sometimes when you're streaming, it's not as seamless when you go from track to track. There might be a little hiccup.
Yep.
And CDs don't do that. So I'm like, this is worth it to get this on CD. So I bought it with Amazon points, and I had a gift card balance because I keep filling out these surveys that come into my work email, like education publishers, like want me
my
to take
wife
surveys.
does those. It's like
I
50,
boy, I've like made a lot of gift card. So I had a $25 gift card balance in there that I had forgotten about. And so then later that day, I put the order in. Later the day, Amazon sent me an email and they said, you can sign up for a free 90-day subscription to Amazon Music Unlimited, which is their streaming service.
Right.
Now, we already have Spotify. We have a family account, but I'm like, I'll take the 90 days free. Like, I just put it in my calendar like when it's going to run out. So let's try Amazon and see how they work.
You like it?
Well, I listened last night and nothing dropped out. They're using, I think, 320 kilobit MP3s, which is just about the same as what Spotify does for their high quality. So it's not using up as much bandwidth as Tidal.
Okay.
But anyway, to come back to Yes, one of the albums I was listening to, I guess, must have been on Amazon or one of those, or maybe it was Spotify. Okay, let me back up. I got the itch to like go CD shopping, so I had to go make a grocery store run. So I stopped at the Salvation Army thrift store in Westchester, and I had double masked myself. It was the first time I went out with a double mask, which was very comfortable. I liked it. I felt a little safer. I've been in there like a couple times in the last year, and just for really briefly, and they never really had anything, but I sort of got some good stuff this time. So they were running a sale, 99-cent CDs. So I'm like going through as fast as I can. Like I should have brought my glasses though, because I couldn't read the spines at all. And this is such a dark store. Like the lighting is horrible.
But even if you're wearing a mask and glasses, they fog up. Like I don't know how to wear.
Oh yeah. See, well, I don't usually wear glasses. I just have reading glasses.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, me too. But
yeah, they would have fogged up, and then I would have been screwed.
Right. That's the problem I run into.
Yeah. So that slowed me down a little bit. But I found about 10 CDs, and one of them was a Porcupine Tree.
Wow,
album.
That's unusual.
I don't know if I
know them.
You turned me on to that band, or I think you might.
I don't think so. I have a couple of them. I like them. I don't know them that well, but
they're a good prog rock band, and so I already had one album by them called Light Bulb Sun, and this one was called In Absentia, which I guess is one of their bigger albums. Sounded great on the CD. So
99 cents too.
I started researching and I realized, okay, the main guy in Porcupine Tree, which they're not a band anymore, but his name's Steven Wilson. He's getting famous for doing all these remixes, and he's been remixing all the Yes albums. I think he already did all the King Crimson albums.
Nice.
And he did Chicago too, and a lot of Jethro Tull. So now I'm really curious to hear these remixes that he's done of the Yes albums.
Yeah,
which you can get. I noticed that they're on Amazon. They're probably on Spotify too.
Unlimited or just regular?
On the Amazon Unlimited.
Okay, I'd love to hear a different version of a Yes album because I know them all like by heart. So it'd be really cool to hear some like when it's new. That's cool.
When it's a favorite album, it's always fun to hear a new take on it.
Oh yeah,
Steven Wilson gets pretty highly praised, and like his Porcupine Tree stuff sounds phenomenal. Yeah. So, and that's a long story short, but that's.
Oh, it's okay. It reminds me of a story that my favorite Yes listening experience was when YouTube had not taken down a bunch of stuff, and I love Fish Out of Water, one of the Chris Squire solo LP that he did in the middle of the Yes years.
I haven't heard that.
Oh, you got to listen to it. It's amazing. I love it, but it's very Yes, but it's Squire, Bill Bruford, and Patrick Moraz. So it's basically Yes, but it's Chris Squire. It's like all Chris. Chris had like one track per LP usually, and the rest was John Anderson or Steve Howe or whatever. And so like this is all Chris Squire, and it's it's amazing. It's worth an hour of your time. Check it out today. It would be great. I'd love to hear what you think about it. But but there used to be this video of Fish Out of Water with Chris Squire narrating, and while he was like listening to it and talking about what was happening during the recording. It was amazing. I can't find it anymore, but I think it's on a CD or a DVD, and somebody pirated it, threw it up there, and it's awesome. So it was kind of like that, because it was just Fish Out of Water, but it was him going like, yeah, and this guy, like, you know, he had too much to drink and this happened, and it was really cool because he really understood the backstory.
One reason I've been in the doldrums is like I feel a little stale with my music, so I'm looking for new stuff. Brian Eno,
yeah,
and like I'm putting him on my. I'm gonna listen to his stuff. I think he has something new out. There's a lot more of his stuff I need to explore.
Go way back. Listen to Before and After Science. That's
okay.
my favorite. Eno. I mean, that's like mid 70s. So after you listen to Fish Out of Water, I'm prescribing. Before and After Science. Spider and I, one of my favorite tracks of all time, is the last track on side 2. And then King's Lead Hat was another favorite. I actually have that one digitized. I could text it to you.
Wow.
It's an awesome album. It's an awesome album.
There's bands that I've sort of heard of that I've never dipped into. So I'm like, okay, I got to start writing these names down. So just today I listened to a couple. One was Perubu. Do you know Perubu?
I've heard the name, but I don't know that I would recognize them.
They're like a Cleveland based art punk band. And I listened to one of I think it was their first album. I liked it. And then the Dream Syndicate is another band that I've heard of, but never heard a thing by them.
Same here.
And I like them too. I was just before we met, I was listening to I think their first album, and it's kind of definitely got like a Velvet Underground sort of crossed with Dylan, mid 60s Dylan, but more noisy.
Yep.
But yeah, like definitely I'll be listening to more of them.
I've been listening to a little more obscure Lou Reed, like just trying to look up, like he does covers of songs. And I can't remember the name, but I heard him do one, and it was Lou, but he was doing it was like something you might think of Sinatra doing. When I'm not sure what I want to listen to, I go to Lou Reed is my go-to. I had Spotify on and I was just letting it go, and Lou Reed came on, and I was like, that's Lou Reed, but I've never heard that before.
Oh, speaking of Velvets, like John Cale's another artist I've been getting into. So yeah. I bought one or two of his solo albums last year. One's called Helen of Troy.
I bought a John Cale album when I was in college. So this is going back a ways, and I've never listened to it.
Oh, what's it called? Do you remember?
I'll find out. I have it. Hold on. Maybe it's time I listen to it. See, okay, Birds, Ginger Baker, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. That wasn't mine. Great Bluesmen. No, I hope I still have it. I'll be really disappointed if I don't.
Are they alphabetized?
They are. So this won't take me forever, I promise. It's got to be here. John Cage. It's not Cale. See, I don't even know what I have.
Oh, the avant-garde guy. That's funny because I was going to mention him today. This is like we're very
look where I bought it.
Plastic Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
great. 95. It's in pretty good shape.
Somewhere back here, I have a Plastic Fantastic shopping bag that I saved.
Wow.
With the logo on it.
Oh, wow.
I know it's back here somewhere. Is this?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Is that a Buddha you have up on your shelf?
Yeah, it's actually a G.I. Joe toy. It came with a
Really? It looks like a Buddha.
That is a Buddha.
Yeah.
I used to play with this all the time with my G.I. Joes, but my mom had saved a lot of them. I've sold some of those on eBay, but I think I'm going to save the last 2 G.I. Joes. Basically, like, I think I have it taped shut, but back here, this opens up. Yeah. So there's like rubies inside of it. So that was part of the adventure. Like,
oh, that's awesome.
You can search for diamonds and rubies, and they're like hidden inside the Buddha.
Wow. The Buddha I have is iron, and it doesn't have anything inside of it except more iron. It's really heavy, though. You can use it to hold things down or just look at it.
My grandfather, my father's father, had a Buddha statue that was always in my grandparents' house, and it was like the sort of pot-bellied Chinese Buddha.
Yeah.
And I always remember it because it had a hole in the bottom. And my grandfather used to be a federal narcotics agent.
Really?
So he worked undercover for years in like the 30s.
Oh my God.
Yeah, into the 40s.
So he was one of the G-men, or what did they call it?
Yeah, he was a G-man, and he infiltrated the Chinese mob.
Oh my God.
And this is where this statue came from. So they, like, some of these mobsters gave him gifts. So he also had an opium pipe, and they would hide the drugs inside the Buddha statue.
That's amazing. What did he work with Hoover and those guys?
He was with the Treasury Department.
Wow.
Anslinger was his boss, this guy. And in fact, my sister was just going through old letters. My sister just retired, so now she's starting to root through things. And she found a whole bunch of letters that my dad wrote to his mom when he was in the Army. And some of the letters were from his father, who I think for like 10 years he was stationed in New York City. And he probably saw his family very seldom, like maybe at holidays and occasionally, and like because he was undercover. And they were kind of, you could see from these letters that it was putting a little bit of strain on the family because everyone was separated apart. And his brother was actually fought in Europe during World War II. He was, I think, a paratrooper. And my dad was stationed in the South, and he didn't see action. He never left the States. He was in like Georgia and Alabama, and I think he worked in a print shop and did drafting and things like that.
Okay. My dad never saw action either, and that was during Korea.
Okay. I think my dad was in from like 45 to 46, so it's like towards the end of World War II. And
so that's the year to be in.
Yeah.
At the end. It was like my dad, same thing, like 53 to 55. He got in like a month after they did a ceasefire. Like perfect timing.
That's good.
But he lost a lot of friends in the 6 months before that.
Wow.
Because they were just sending people in, like, here's a gun and go do something.
But the reason I was thinking of Cage, bringing that up, it's funny that you have that album, is you know how he has that infamous composition 433, where it's just the person sits at the piano and doesn't play for 4 minutes and 33 seconds.
Okay, yes.
And I thought, well, that could be a good podcast because our podcast is something from nothing. So we could just say the whole podcast would be silence for like 20 minutes or something. And then we come back on. thanks for listening. Like,
Right. Or here, you guys should be meditating, so
right.
20 minutes of silence. We'll let you know when it's over. But I like the idea of just nothing. Just dial it in.
Yeah.
It's a lot less work.
Right.
Why kill ourselves when we don't have
Just at the end of it, say, well, we hope something came out of that. Like that was your 20 minutes of nothing.
Yeah, and then the next show could be listener feedback.
Which would be more silence.
Potentially. Perfect. I love it. We've got like the whole next season like figured out now. We do this as a show, and then maybe like bumper it with some tracks, like maybe actually, how about let's piss Brian Eno off if he's listening, and take your favorite track from Before and After Science and pop it on the podcast somewhere, like when we do it, and see if we can get him to sue us.
You got to throw in some oblique strategies too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, let me do one now. Let me find it. Here it is. There's the box. The black coffin-like box. So I'll just pick one out of the middle. It says lowest common denominator.
Whew. What would be the lowest common denominator?
Stealing a track off of his album. And see if we can get sued. We'll get a cease and desist order from Brian Eno. That would be the pinnacle of my career in podcasting, for sure.
Do you remember mp3.com?
I must.
It was a early, I guess you would call it music streaming site, and people would put their music on there, and then some, commercial artists started putting their music on there. I got all over that when that first started. So I uploaded I think almost everything that Jim and I had done, our tapes. I digitized them and uploaded them, and the tapes that Stacy and I had made, I created accounts and put all this stuff up there. Mm-hmm. And then they had this service where you could make CDs out of your MP3s and buy them, sell them. So I did that, and I still have the CDs over there. I'm looking at them on the shelf. I made artwork for them. And I'm so glad I did that, because that site's long gone. It was fun for a while because you could just I know there was this sort of garage punk song that Jim and I had done called the Sphinx, that for 1 week in probably 1999, it was the top garage song on mp3.com.
Wow. You still have the song, the recording?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
I think
it's
that
funny.
You should end this podcast with that recording.
It was a lot of fun.
Welcome to the Sphinx. I'm the Sphinx. I'm the Sphinx. I'm part man, part light. I'm made of stone. I'm a Sphinx. I just
Yeah, so I'm so glad I got those CDs when I did, because it's like a record of that moment in time. And then the mp3.com made a big mistake. So they went public. They did an IPO. This was sort of right before the .com crash.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made the ridiculous decision to start allowing you to download commercial music. So they had this weird thing where you would, let's say you legally owned a CD, you had bought a CD, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you had Hotel California. You could put that in the CD drive on your computer, and it would read some code off of it and beam it over to mp3.com. So they're sort of confirming that you have that album. And then you could download the MP3s of Hotel California without having to upload anything.
Wow.
And of course, the record company said, no. Like, that is not going to. And they sued them into like oblivion. And they crashed really hard after that. They are no more.
Wow. Well, but you got the CDs, so yeah. Wow, that was truly the Wild West back then.
It was.
Yeah.
I was never big on Napster, but there was this. Did you
stuff? Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I have the laptop that I was using in 98, 99, 2000. And I've got a ton of stuff that I downloaded from Napster, all of it illegally. And I don't even know if the laptop still starts up, but if it does, there's like, I didn't download anything that I didn't already have, but I wanted it digitally.
Sure, it was convenient, and this is what the streaming services have solved that now. Like they realized a way to monetize it. Yep. But before, I didn't do Napster, but I did find out through this friend of mine about this obscure UK website called Oink. And Oink's Pink Palace, it was called. And one little pig logo. Yeah. And it was a phenomenal site. So what people would do is, like, it was like the torrents, right? The BitTorrent type thing. Yep. So you could get all this like curated, really obscure stuff, or like really high definition stuff, but it was also like stuff you couldn't find anywhere else. Some of it was bootleg stuff, some of it was just like out of print stuff. Mm-hmm. Man, I loaded up on so much cool music from that. And then like the guy who ran Oink like got arrested and put on trial. He was like, I don't know exactly what happened to him, but like that was the end of Oink. Wow. But it was so well done. It was so well done because you could find, it was like the people who, you had to sort of be a member of it. You didn't have to pay anything for it, but like you had to, it was kind of like an exclusive little club of people who were sharing music. And then not long after that, like the Spotify's and the Apple Musics and all of them came along, and here we are.
That's right.
And I'm happy to pay my $15 a month or whatever, for access to that music. It's wonderful.
It is, and you stop worrying about missing anything, or not having something, because you can just call it up. Right. Or it'll introduce you to it, like that Lou Reed song that I can't remember. It was something like having a great day, or it was a great day, or it was, it's like such a great day to spend with you, or something like that. And it was like to hear him singing it, but I just never heard it before. Perfect Day. I think it was called Perfect Day. I think so. I think that was it. Yeah, Perfect Day. It's off the Transformer album, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, check it out. It's him, but it shouldn't be him. But it's a really nice song anyway.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. Pachla Rasa is produced by Jim Ish and Dave Blank. As for the music, the instrumental rendition of Running on Empty was recorded by Jim, and the instrumental guitar interludes were composed and recorded by Dave. punk rock track The Sphinx was written by Jim Morris and recorded by the band Joe on their third tape, Joe 3. And that consists of Jim Morris on guitar and lead vocal and Jim Esch on drums and background vocals. You can find Padre La Raza at padrelarasa.com, at anchor.fm, and your favorite podcasting application. If you'd like to send us feedback, send an email to padrelarasa@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening. We hope you will become a subscriber of Padre La Raza and tune back in very soon. Bye-bye.